The market's looking sick. It might be the best time in the world to sit in cash and not F up your portfolio. And that's exactly what your boy Chris just did today. Let's take a look at the market. So first things first, we had a close under the 10 EMA yesterday. A close under the 10 EMA is a very, very bearish sign. I consider this a red light, and that's why I've got it circled in red. Not only that, but we now have a order block, an outlier block that developed right on top of this area. This is an area of trapped buyers who want to get out at break even. And right now, they're not very happy. They're not happy at all because we're going to have two closes under the 10 EMA. Now, does that mean we're crashing down to zero? No, because I mean, just look over here, right? We had a couple closes under the 10 EMA and it came back up, but the market is not strong. The market is not a very healthy market, in my opinion. Now, I'm going to go through the trades that I just closed here a couple moments ago, and it's not been a great week for me. And one thing that I learned from one of my mentors, Mark Minervini, is that when you see your trades not working, that is a big red flag, right? If you are a profitable trader and you've been putting on all kinds of trades during the year, and you are running into an area where you have a losing streak, where things are not clicking, that is the time to, number one, sit in cash and don't F up your portfolio. And number two, the market's probably on its way down. Probably on its way down. Now, anything can happen. Of course, anything can happen, but I'm going to safety. This is my flight to safety, and you're on board with me. So let's take a look at the trades that we had on as of yesterday. So SGI, I just closed a little bit ago, and Joe is posting the updates in our Discord. Thank you very much, Joe. In the outlier trading room, by all means, help yourself and grab that information from there. But I just closed SGI. How did I do on SGI? A small win. Where's SGI? Here. 13% gain on the trade, 2.47% account impact. So decent win on this one. But I'm going to cash today on everything. And the big reason why I'm going on everything is the market is changing direction. Right. First, we can see the market itself. The market itself is closing under the 10 EMA, but market breadth, more importantly, is also telling you something's not right here. Let's pop this open. This is a little bookmark clip that we have temporarily until we build this in Outlier 4.0. But you can see the number of buy signals peaked a couple days ago and is starting to drift down slightly. That's not a good start. Second, what we see today, it's very difficult to see, but both of these are actually pointing down. What is this measuring? This is measuring the number of uptrends we have versus the number of downtrends we have. Now, if you look over here, right, this is when both candles were showing less downtrends, more uptrends, and that's why they lit up green and red. And on this side over here, you'll notice the lines, the top and bottom outlier channel lines, are both moving down, meaning that there were more downtrends and less uptrends, and that's exactly what we have today on the full market. Now it's very, very hard to see, but you went from on this channel score of 1202 to 1197, so it only contracted by 5, but it still contracted. And then today we went from 550 to 625 on the number of downtrends. So both of those give us a score of -2. My rule, thanks to Scott, our quant, for helping us come up with this, is that a score of -1 or less results in closing everything. Now, this is new, right? You've never heard me talk about this before. This is a new exit rule. Thanks to Scott in the last couple of weeks that I can't tell you how much R&D we are doing right now actively, right? My goal is to be as profitable as possible using the Outlier platform. We have an entire team of people dedicated to making us as profitable as possible using the Outlier platform. This is one of those changes that we are implementing right away. Senior Wahoo, what did he say, Joe? When several trades go wrong, something bigger may be happening. Sit out and sit in SGOV. A quote from some random guy. Receipts are on YouTube. Yeah, I in fact, we'll talk about SGOV in just a few minutes. Thank you, Art. And Scott, our quant, says there is so much R&D. Yeah, it's all day, every day right now. And so for me, that was a close everything signal. So that's exactly what I did. So we talked about SGI. Let's go to SE. SE, what a nice comeback on SE. How did I do on SE? A 16.52% gain, 1.84% account impact. Thank you, Joe, for posting that. Delta Airlines. This is another one that I rolled. And so because of that, we need to talk about the roll. So initially, let's follow the trail here. So thanks to Joe for linking this. My initial trade here was I rolled it. Well, let me go back one more for that. There we go. The initial trade was buying the Delta Airlines 56 calls for $4.10. Okay. For $4.10. And then we rolled the 56 to the 57s. And when we did, we took in 80 cents of credit. Okay. So let's do the math here real quick. Let's do the math. We're going to say 410 minus 80 cents in credit. So that leaves us with only $3.30 of risk. Now, I just closed Delta Airlines for $3.10, right? So I still took a 20-cent loss on the trade overall. But the total credit on the trade was $3.90, right? The 80 cents plus the $3.10 that I'm talking about here. And that was only a 5% loss. It literally did basically nothing to my account value, right? So on the whole, up on the day, and I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, we are talking about US Bank. This is not one I'm in right now, but one that we're following. And this is one, again, that I would be closing today. Like I say, I closed everything, literally everything. So Goran has a question. When you say I'm going to SGOV, what does that mean? So great question. Now, I did not know about SGOV for the majority of my trading career until May. And the only way that I learned about it was somebody in the YouTube comments saying, why not put your cash in SGOV instead of holding it in cash? And I was like, huh, what is this SGOV thing you speak of? SGOV is a short-term treasury bond ETF. A short-term treasury bond ETF. Now, we'll talk more about the intricacies in a minute, but this is basically an amalgamation of all the short-term treasury bonds that are up to 90 days in duration. And right now, that equates to over 4% yield. So over 4% yield is super duper cool. Now, you'll notice SGOV does something weird. And this honestly put me off for a couple of weeks until talking with Dave, one of our Outlier University graduates, and him telling me exactly how he's trading it. And it made a ton of sense to me. So you'll notice that it does this wave up and wave down, this wave up and this wave down. Now, the reason it's doing this is you're basically collecting interest every single day, which is really cool. Super duper cool, which is another reason why I like SGOV. Instead of waiting to be compounded once a month, semi-annually, once a year. In fact, my family and I were going to Disney World later this year, and we're watching Mary Poppins, right? We have a list of movies to get through, so my kids know all the characters. And we're watching Mary Poppins last night, and Mr. Banks goes into the bank where he works, and they're singing the song about the tuppence, and he talks about how it's compounded semi-annually. And my kids were like, what does all that mean, Dad? And of course, being that I'm basically had been a banker for 12 years, we talked about how, your money compounds over time. And for them, it would compound once every 6 months. And I was like, okay, so he's going to make his 2 pence into 3 pence in the next 40 years is basically what it came down to. But you don't have to wait every 6 months because it pays to your account on a daily basis. Now, you'll also notice not only does it go up every day, but every month it has a huge drop down. Oh my goodness. What is the huge drop down? That is the dividend. That is the dividend that you're getting paid for owning this stock. Now, this happens to every dividend paying stock. It drops by the amount of the dividend. Can you guess how much the dividend was? The amount that it went up during the month. It pays the dividend, resets. It's the amount that it goes up every month, pays the dividend, and resets. Isn't that cool, right? So what you can do is buy it on the first day of the month, sell it on the last day of the month, and you get basically the same as if you bought it on the last day of the month and then you were holding it on the next first day of the month, and you got the dividend put into your account as cash. It won't show up as extra shares. It'll show up as extra cash in your account. It is a super duper duper cool vehicle. And honestly, one that I wish I knew about for years, right? Because now, even though I'm sitting in cash and not effing up my portfolio, actually, I got to put this over here now. This is lit up for now. Even though I'm sitting in cash and not effing up my portfolio, I'm still going to be making money on a daily basis. Ryan says it exactly. Sit in SGOV and don't mess up your account. Now, you may be in a broker that pays you interest. And if you are, that's awesome. But the broker that I use, they don't have it. And that's okay, because now we have this vehicle to earn money in. So I'm completely out of the market, completely in SGOV, but I want to take a few minutes to talk about some potential setups, right? Let's look at these here. And before we do that, let's take a look again at the market. Let's start with the top down. So first, we have the 10 over 20, price over 50 on the SPY. We have a bullish trend right now. So it's not time to be shorting anything. Not time to be shorting anything. Don't get too excited. We still have a buy signal, which honestly, I think at some point in the near future is going to flip to sell. I don't know when. I'm not trying to predict it. I'm just looking at what I see. And then market breadth we talked about here is collapsing hard and fast. Collapsing hard and fast. The number of downtrends is growing. The number of buy signals is not growing. And it hasn't quite crossed over bearishly yet, but I could see that happening in the next day or two. So we don't have a bullish market fully set up here. Let me pull this up here. But we have, that's not the slide I want. I want this slide, the one I can modify. We have bearish breadth going on here. Now, I ran the screener today just for funsies to see what would pull through. And just for funsies to see what would pull through. And Mr. Dave has a great question. SGOV, we're buying the shares, not buying the options. Exactly, precisely. Don't buy the options. If you think that you're going to arbitrage this, I got another thing coming for you. People way smarter than either of us combined, any of us combined, have tried to do that, and it isn't going to happen. You're not going to arbitrage your way out of this. So running the screener came up with several different names. And let's take a look at each one of those. Let's go to EHC first. Nico has a great question. How does Outlier have a buy signal when the SPY is under the 10? They are two different things, my friend. Moving averages and the SPY buy and sell signals do not talk to each other. They do not talk to each other. So we have the buy signal that came through on EHC today, and this is in the healthcare sector, which has been on my shit list now. The healthcare sector is not in a good way for me, okay? So let's reset on this, and we can see the healthcare sector, the average fear and greed score is rising, but the number of stocks in uptrends looks like it's contracted very, very slightly, and the number of stocks with buy signals has decreased slightly. So I'm going to give this yellow, in fact, too, because we still have a crossover. Let's be consistent, at least. We still have a crossover on breadth, but the number of stocks in uptrends is not going with us. And then fear and greed is going to be green. Now let's go to the stock itself, EHC. You got your trend template here, 10 over 20, price over 50 with a buy signal. Fear and greed on this one is ever so slightly rising, ever so slightly rising. And then let's go look at EHC on the chart. EHC on the chart just blew through an order block right here. This is what you're looking for. This is what you're looking for. This is what the people who own AMD are going to need to see. If it can't grow through, there you go. If it can't grow through this order block right here, then it's not a trade. It's not a trade you want to be taking. But if it can break through that point, that is a huge, huge advantage. That means all the sellers that were right here waiting to get back to break even, that's done. Everybody at this point is looking at new highs. Everybody at this point is looking at new highs. So that's actually a great thing. This falls into strong buy category. Now let's dive deeper. I need to log into Tradier here real quick. Let's dive deeper and let's look at the options chain for EHC. Gas Trader says all the stocks are on my shit list right now. Every now and then they act right. Yeah, I know the feeling. I know the feeling. By the way, some huge research went down yesterday between Scott, Mark, and myself. A theory that I wanted to test played out unbelievably well. I even texted the alphas and told them that we are on the rabbit trail of something really, really great, including adding the donkey channels in with something else. I'm going to tease it for now until we have conclusive results. There's something really cooking. Really cooking. Back testing all day. All right, let's go to EHC. That's what I spend most of my time doing, Joe, is backtesting. That's most of Chris's day. Looking at the options chain right here, September 19th looks pretty good. If we were to go into the options chain, there is one strike that looks gorgeous, really, really beautiful, and that's the 115s. You've got a ton of open interest, over 1,000 open interest here. And the extrinsic value is 129, which is 9.9. I don't know. Did I do divide? I did. No, I did plus. Hang on. 1.29 divided by 9.9 gives you 13%. 13% extrinsic value. So if EHC fits your trading plan, that strike right there is a gorgeous strike. One that I would be very, very interested to take if I were looking to get into the market. Just putting that out there. So let's go to the next one on the screener here. Let's go to Edwards Life Sciences. Edwards Life Sciences, another stock in healthcare. These healthcare guys, how dare they? Anyway, buy signal, 10 over 20, price over 50. We don't have to change the sector or the market. That's going to stay the same. So we got a trend, we got a signal, and we got the fear and greed pushing up very, very slightly from 56.19 to 56.29. Any outlier blocks on top of EUW. We traded this not long ago. How did I do on EU? If it's been the last couple months, probably frustratingly on EU. Let's go to the chart. Yep, it took my money right there. I got in right here, got out right there. That's part of the game of trading, unfortunately. Part of the game of trading. But let me remove my notes on here. Remove 6 drawings. Okay, so we have a new setup here, a new buy signal, and EU, Edwards Life Sciences, doesn't have any outlier blocks in the way. So let's light this up here. Another strong buy on Edwards Life Sciences. Let's go into the EU options chain. And we will see September 19th. I like either one of these, honestly. Either one of these, the 70, the 77.5 or the 75, both look really sharp. Plenty of open interest. Extrinsic value, 89 cents on 470. 89, 470 is 18%. That looks sharp. Honestly, that would probably be the one that I go with because it's cheaper. And it's going to get you pretty much the same outcome. So if EW fits your trading plan, the 77.5 strike could be amazing. Could be amazing for you. Now, there was a question from Gene. I'm a member of Outlier, but I haven't seen any invites for the afternoon sessions. Please assist. I got you. First place to get your invites for the afternoon sessions, which will be limited just to outliers, right? The only way you'll be getting access is if you are an outlier, is in the Discord. Go to there's a section called live stream links, and you'll see every live stream link that we've done for years. Every live stream link that we've done for years. This is your invitation. And April, who posts this, sends out a daily email. If you don't see the email in your inbox, go to your spam folder, right click it once you found it, and then move it over. And then move it over into your inbox. But those are the 2 places to get your invites. Now, there are some freeloaders who are still in our Discord, but don't worry. Deep Thought, who's also an official outlier at this point, a graduate of Outlier University and now employee of Outlier, he's found a way to kick you out. So your time is numbered. All right. And as John says, the green event details right up there, that'll get you there too. Either way, we got you. The invites are going out every day, and I hope to see you there. All right, let's go to the next stock. Let's go to JBGS. JBGS. And let's see, JBGS. Okay, real estate sector. Now, real estate sector actually looks really, really, really strong. More uptrends, less downtrends, more buy signals. Fear and greed is off the charts right here. Yeah, real estate sector looks gorgeous. Let's go look at the stock itself. The trend is bullish here with the buy signal. The fear and greed is going up ever so slightly. Looks like it hit a bottom yesterday and is starting to push back up today. So we're going green, green, green. And then the outlier blocks on top of JBGS. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Now, this is an area that Chris wouldn't buy. I wouldn't be buying JBGS with your money, specifically because the buyers who got trapped on this candle, they're not happy. They want to get out of here. Now, if your charts don't look like mine, no big deal. Once you become an outlier, you get access to the Discord. In the Discord is a step-by-step guide to set up your charts to look exactly the same as mine for free. You can get the free trading view plan and the free indicator that we provide, and your charts will look exactly like mine. So you will be able to see these outlier blocks. You'll be able to see these outlier blocks, and you'll have no excuse in the future to say, you know what? An outlier block right here. I'm not interested in trading that. I'm not interested in trading that. Let's go and let's do Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is one of my favorite stocks to talk about because I like to talk about Tesla as an exciting stock and Coke as a boring stock. So let's see here. Look, at some point I drew on this in the past. Okay, so this is in the staples sector. Now, here's the thing. Here's a pro tip. If you see staples and utilities doing well, if you see staples and utilities pushing up, that is not a good sign for the market. Those are where people flight to safety. That is the flight to safety. If they're not going to SGOV, they're going to staples or utilities. So anytime you see those two sectors lighting up, that's important. That's super duper uber important. So this is in the staple sector. More uptrends in the staple sector, more buy signals in the staple sector, further feeding into the thesis of the market's not looking very great. And the staple sector is getting more greedy. So that's not so good. That's not so good overall for the market. But let's reset here. Coke has maybe an uptrend. Let's double check. It just crossed today. Coke just crossed today. We'll get to the outlier blocks. Don't worry. It just crossed today on the trend. And it's got all over the outlier blocks right there. The signal is a buy signal, which is why I'm looking at it today. All right. And oh, come on. I hate when that happens. And the fear and greed was moving up on Coke. The fear and greed was moving up on Coke. Actually, I need to make that red. So still a strong buy. Still a strong buy. However, that's not a good thing for the market. That's not a good thing for the market overall. And let's go to the last one. KRC, not KFC, KRC. All right. So we can see this is also in the real estate sector, which we talked about a minute ago, is super duper strong. And let's go here, reset this with the buy signal. Very strong trend that's lasted for a while. Buy signal just came through. Fear and greed. Looks like it bottomed yesterday, starting to push back up. And any outlier blocks on top of KRC. Ooh, there is. And tell me or tell me in the chat that outlier blocks don't work. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'll wait. I'll wait. Because buyers who were trapped back here, the very first time price came up to this level on Wednesday, July 23rd, it got monkey hammer back down. The second time price came back to this level, July 29th, price got hammered back down. The third time price came back to this level on August 7th, price got monkey hammered back down. Dr. J, I said, tell me they don't work. What is that? 1, 2, 3. The fourth time that price came back to this level, it's struggling and it's not quite made it through just yet. Not quite made it through just yet. So let's run this real quick. Outlier blocks are definitely going to stay red. We got a buy signal on KRC. It's moving up here and the trend is looking good. So again, it is still a strong buy, but a strong buy that I would not be buying with my own money. No way. And certainly not with yours. So listen, we covered a ton today. I'm telling you right now, I'm not calling for a crash, but I am saying that I'm not trusting the way that this market looks, right? A lot of things are starting to break under the surface. And that's one of the advantages of being an outlier is you can lean on a professional investor who's been doing this for 16 years to give you these insights that you may not see otherwise. And I show you exactly step by step how to find that. Now, if you are not a freeloader, you're going to be getting the invite-only invitations to be able to join us every weekday where we do this same thing together. But if you haven't joined Outlier yet, you're going to be left behind. So listen, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. If you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, click one of these two videos, and we'll talk soon.